Hey guys, yep, Market Sniper hat on, and it's our lira. So we did suggest, despite a lot of other technical analysts with big Twitter followings all saying, and there'll be further smashings of the Turkish lira to the downside, to the upside, we did suggest that in actual fact we'd probably had a slap in the face event. We're setting up an ascending inverted HVF, in other words, lira to strengthen. How many people came out and said lira to strengthen? A while ago, around about, when was it? It was 21st September, end of September, after all the excitements. Yep, and the issues with the Erdogan government and all the other things that have been going on, journalists, etc., etc. Anyway, long and short of it is we broke here. We had a little ascending rising wedge to our grind line, a grind line through the pattern, triggering event, and we spilled out. Then we had to sit through quite an uncomfortable pullback with a couple of final blow-off impulsive moments here. Then it was hanging. It did in fact have a degree of a channel sell-off across the edges here. Sometimes you get that. It didn't have its full-blown major consistent capitulation moment, and as a result there was a degree of dis-ease with progress. But what you are now getting in this channel is you're now getting real acceleration to the downside. So if we just put those on for you, so you could see how, apart from the big news of the interest rate hike and then the rally back, it was constrained. It bumped up against that channel, and again it was a return move, second chance, touched our axis in fact, and then it's just rolled over. And this is a first really consistent sustained sell-off period. There was a little micro fractal inverted in there. Spoke to the guys this morning in our premium group, said this is a bear flag, very low volatility, selling wicks. Before we had either of these two candles on the 4 hour, said we should roll over on the second interim. We're getting open territory for the first time, given that the first interim came quite quickly after the triggering event, and the second interim has just been run. So we had a weak rally, not for very long, little bit of a bear flag, and scope for a real sell-off here where we could accelerate. So we're in the bottom end of the channel. Possibility that it slows a little bit, but angled lines don't hold too much weight with me. It's more about showing the degree of the momentum for me, and that there's a sort of tactical retreat by those that were wanting to be long the dollar and pound the lira. That game is up. It's going really far. Real blow-off event. That was extreme. Then a huge smackdown. So it's quite interesting, and we're actually clawing back on some good gains on our shorts at the moment. And the suspicion is, if it goes to its fullest retrace, which will shock many people, you could be back in the low fives on the target, where all the previous targets, and you can see these clustering levels all come into play if I go to the daily time frame. So yep, people forget how far this has come. Since May, the first setup, you were down at 4. Being back down at 5 in the same year is not completely beyond the realm of possibility, just because we touched way up at the 7s before. So this was complete blow-off moment. Many people can't adjust their sense of belief. They think if it traded there, how can it ever be back there? You'll be shocked at the degree that things can trade both up and down, and this was a cluster of key levels of significance that even had wind-up setups that were giving confluences here, and you can see all the analysis we're doing. We're engaged in this market over here as well, prior to that overperformance move, which was substantial. So actually, the ability of a great trader is the ability to make money both directions and to recognize when it's changed. So all those others that were just calling for lira cheaper, they were jumping on the train, just being me too and more. In other words, they're momentum chasing tendencies, and I tend to see these commentators for what they are. I think they lack real authenticity when they just chase momentum. If you have a real method, you can see that this is that this was setting up, and you've had a proper blow-off. Bitcoin, think of other markets. Anyway, if you want to find out more about how you can trade with HVF method, come on over to on October the 31st. You'll find out what else we've been looking at, what else we've been talking about in the community that might go up. We've had an amazing run with, yes, wait for it, let's run past it, why not? Came back and got us back in, weed as well. Look at that little ascending just on our high 3, perfect. Well done to the guys who were spotting that and putting them up in our community. Some great setups being done. I've got a super wide screen, that's why this looks a little bit narrow here for you guys, but this is normally fit to screen. You'll see our premium area where 3+1 trade ideas, quick thoughts are posted, looms and concepts, etc. are in there. Cryptos, FX, commodities, general markets. This is unique. This has got like WhatsApp-like functionality without the Facebook and the all-round surveillance, a private community, and all that we do. Cryptos, some of the things we're watching at in equities, it's all in here. So if you want to become part, come and find out more about what we do in the hold on, where's our FX gone? Let's update you actually on GBP New Zealand as well while we're at it. Let's make this a full-blown mixed bag. Turkish lira. So I have actually added slightly to this baby, GBP New Zealand. This is the trade. I've been fortunate to get a good run out of this. It's actually performed very well, so I'm not concerned by the pullback. We had a mini head and shoulders that has probably performed, but you could have been long here. Big leg up, wind up, and it kind of points to a rest there. We're still looking for just about the 206s, and there may be some scope for teensy weensy bit of over performance in all of that. So let's just show you what happened as well on this one, seeing as we're talking about the FX. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, very close to the wind up target, confluence key level. That's just been run. Opportunity to top up, could be a little wind up that dips a little lower, but I think we were due a rest after the second interim run. I'm not too afraid. It's not coming down too capitulatively. There was a little gap there. If you have a look at that, it's kind of how it's come down in rate. That's the degree or the rate that it's gone down. This was an excellent move. These moves were quite impulsive. That was also decent. And then we wind up again. So I still feel confident that this one will see us through to 206, but there's a possibility dips might be made. So there could be late entries for certain people, but you'd have to choose your stops real well. If you want to do that, you can't have them down here, over there. That would be terrible. Risk reward matters. Man, I'm hearing some guys saying risk reward don't matter. Wow, I'm amazed. And that even discussing risk reward means you're an inexperienced trader. I'm astounded by that. So there's a lot of crazy treating. The things that matter: risk reward, how much time in trade, the probability of outcome. We call that a POUT score as well. So you can have sizing, full method where you know where your stop is, know where your target is. The juice worth the squeeze prior to you taking and putting the orders in? So you can be neutral mentally. You're not trading your book, and you can assess a trade idea, assess it, get it at one of those key selective moments of extreme low volatility, when you can have a super tight stop and a very expansive breakout move in your favor that gets you a high reward with a low risk and a good probability of outcome combined. If you can make 10:1 and you're going to lose 3 times for every 1 you win, even though that's only 25%, you should take every trade. Of course, risk reward matters as much as probability of outcome, because that's the financial mathematics of trading. And also how quickly you get to target. You'll note the gradients that we're getting on our line of efficiency. You'll learn about line of efficiency. Look at the strength of these moves. You don't want to have your capital tied up. Some of these spread betting platforms charge if you're using leverage. It matters not to be stuck in a trade forever as well. Time in trade, probability of outcome, risk reward, all matters. Not how confident you are and your best guess of whether it's going to make it there, what percentage that is. You need so much more. You need to have the understanding for that. This is true process. If this resonates, and trading is not for everybody, but if this resonates to you and you understand that most things can be reduced quite tightly to a good process that gets the financial mathematics on your side, you're ready to make this a business, not just a spin of the wheel every now and then to give you some entertainment, then we could be for you. You can also pre-reg for our mini course. There's no cost in that. You will get 4 to 5 videos coming out round about end November going into December, once a week, and you can come on our webinar October the 31st. Come and find out why it's not what you make but what you keep. People that only want high percentage outcome trades, hell, you can trade for 5 pips in FX with 1,000 pip stop, and you can have a real high probability of making that 5 pips. But God help you every now and then if you happen to just enter and it can't move 5 pips in your direction and goes the other way in time and stops you out on 1,000 pip loss. You will lose months of trade profits. Of course, risk reward matters, guys. Of course, real process, real understanding of time in trade, the cost of time in trade, high lines of efficiency, all these principles. I get frustrated with the quality of educators out there. I get truly frustrated with the quality of educators out there. I don't consider myself an educator. I trade. I actually trade. I'm in trades all the time. In the crypto markets, in the FX markets, I am a trader first. Then I am a teacher and a technical analyst, and I enjoy building and nurturing a community of like-minded people that genuinely want to process towards growing and are recognizing that they need to take it seriously as a business, not as just some little spending habit and hobby that you spin the wheel on. If you're in that category, come along. Anyway, my rant is up. GBP New Zealand, possibility of a little bit of a grind here, and that you can get a further dip down. So scope to get it a little bit lower. Still looking for the 207 in spite of the sell-off, which has a head and shoulder target made. We will have funnel down here as support. So a little bit into the space, could get cheap entries and could see you then later be rewarded. But that is my take on a trade that has performed well so far, and you could lose. Don't copy other people's trades, own them, decide if it makes sense to you. Okay, bye for now, guys, and I will be catching up with you during the week. See you on the webinar on the 31st, and you can pre-reg. By the way, those that like the Facebook page will get updates on some of the things we're doing as they move along. So if you look for that, the Market Sniper, the page called the Market Sniper, go find it, and I think the link's below as well. Speak to you later. Enjoy. Bye for now.